In today's live stream, we are going to hang out with my buddy Doug Cunnington from nichesiteproject.com, and we're going to talk about how to do link building with HARO, help a reporter out. We're going to talk about what other uses you can give to this service. And Doug has a course about it as well. We can touch on that as well later. And most importantly, we can answer any questions that you guys might have. So if you're ready for this, vámonos. But first, the Hustlers Anthem.
Yeah, I know sometimes it's hard when you get the feeling you just want to quit your job. We've all had that thought. This is what you want. Time to tune in. Hasta la vista, boss. Yeah, for my side hustlers who never stop. Quit your job and making your own profits. Become your own boss. Live life on your terms. Make it happen for real. This is what you deserve. Yeah. Hasta la vista, boss. Subscribe, have fun, and enjoy the ride. Let's go.
What's going on, boss? Adrian Diaz here with Hasta la Vista, boss, the place where ambitious people like you and I, we talk about how to create a side hustle, make it profitable, quit our job, become our own boss. Doug, welcome back to Hasta la Vista, boss. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing awesome, man. This is fantastic. You have an anthem, you have a tagline. I mean, you're way more organized than my live streams, which are a shit show half the time.
Well, I'm doing my best. That's for sure. But like we were talking about earlier, there's always something that's not working properly. And today is not working properly. My speaker view, so the screen is not gonna change when I speak or when you speak. So but hey, welcome to the live streams.
Oh man, so does that mean like, do I get the big picture, or am I small or am I big?
No, usually you're full screen when you speak, but today I'm gonna kind of have to do it manually. So when you speak, I have to put you on the screen, and at the moment we're just both of us on the screen.
Right on.
But yeah, welcome to the live streams. What can I say? Before we move on, I want to welcome everybody in the chat. Let's see if this works. Yay! How cool is that? Kieran, how's it going, buddy? Welcome. Who else we have in here? We have Michelle. How's it going? Good morning. I think it's good morning in your area at the moment, right? By the way, guys, if you are here in the chat, say hola, so we can say hola back to you. Alternatively, Doug almost had a heart attack last time when someone joined the hangout here. So if you have a question for Doug, let me know, and you can ask the question directly to him. I love to do this on this channel. Making Sawdust, how's it going? Hello, Adrian and Doug. Michelle here says, Doug, that she started HARO this week after seeing your video, which is awesome. So
yeah, I know sometimes it's hard.
So Doug, let's get into this a little bit and see. First, I know that people who's gonna watch the replay, maybe, I don't know, maybe not familiar with HARO. Can you just talk a little bit, maybe a minute or two, about what this is and how did you discover it, basically?
Sure. And I'll also interject. I'm Doug Cunnington. I blog at Niche Site Project. I used to do IT project management. I got laid off, and now I do affiliate marketing and online business stuff, just in general. And with HARO, I heard of it years ago. It's actually been around for a while, and I never messed with it. I kind of discounted it and thought, no one is going to listen to me. I don't know anything about, fill in the niche where I have a site. I don't have credentials. I'm not an expert. And I never really gave it a try. And earlier this year, I recorded a podcast, and I was talking about myself like I do in a lot of my podcasts, because I was featured on CNBC. And I was like, you know what? Dumb luck, right? I somehow got featured on CNBC, and I don't think I could have gotten on, a big platform like that using HARO, blah, blah, blah. Some people came out of the woodwork, like Kyle and Anthony and Shauna, and they said, you know what? I've been using HARO for a little while, for years, for a few months, whatever. It's been working awesome. I've been able to get excellent links. So I started digging in, did some testing, chatted with more and more people. And then I realized, oh, Haro is a pretty viable source for very good links. And it's been amazing so far. So
That's awesome. Is that how you got featured on CNBC? I thought they looked for I think it was at the time it was Amazon was slashing the fees, right? And they find you just by, I don't know, looking for material. I thought you applied for something. Yeah.
It wasn't through Haro. It was, I think literally I was doing a live stream talking about the subject. So when they searched for it, like I kind of shot to the top in the SERPs perhaps. And I mean, I did a couple videos that week, and yeah, I just got someone's attention, one of the reporters. So she reached out directly, and we hooked it up and did actually a pretty long interview, about an hour or so. And then, I got a couple sentences in there, which was pretty cool.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Thanks. Yeah.
Playing with the big guns, huh?
Yeah. Just at the right place at the right time. And, that's why one of the themes kind of underlying in a lot of my content recently is just like, put yourself out there, like you, Adrian, right? Like put yourself out there. You're still a work in progress. Like when I started my stuff, I was exactly in your same situation, working a lot, working a full-time job, moonlighting, trying to get this stuff going. And then, you keep showing up. Hopefully you get better over time. Maybe you got an anthem. I mean, were you singing that? Like, I don't even know what that thing was, but
I wish, man. I wish if I start singing, everybody's going to leave.
I was like, his accent just went away. I was like, what happened there? But I mean, the artistic, level that you're bringing to the live streams is good. So anyway, putting yourself out there is a great idea, because you don't know what opportunities are going to show up, and it's probably not going to be the specific one that you thought you were going to get. And I think I'm rambling on, and you may have asked some other question.
No, that's cool, man. That's cool. It's these live streams. That's why people like them, because they're very chill out. There's no agenda or anything. We just chat about stuff. So if you ramble, it's cool. I'm sure it's something positive coming out of it. There's people in the chat here. We have Adrian here. We have Jan. How's it going, Jan? We have a Nomad Overseas. I know you were asking the other day, a Nomad Overseas, you were asking about Doug's training on WP Ego live stream. So if you have any question, this is the time now to ask whatever you want to know. Femi as well. How's it going, Femi? Welcome, brother. All right. So I have a few questions that I was thinking on, at work, what I'm going to ask Doug about this. And one of the things that I tried this. I tried HARO. Right when after I finished the training with you. I think it was a few months after that, because I was keep absorbing information. I said, what is this HARO? So I went and applied for it. I created an account, and I started to apply for all these emails that I was receiving, and I did it wrong, because I was just applying for anything. Because I said, well, I just want to get featured somewhere, right? And do you have any tips in what? Or how should you approach this at the beginning?
So it can get overwhelming, because what happens, and for people that aren't familiar, I think this may have been your first question, Adrian.
Yeah.
What is HARO? So basically it is a sort of a place where reporters from, big newspapers, just big outlets, they can say, hey, I have a story on X, and I would like to get some information from people in that space about whatever the topic is. It can be very specific. It can be kind of broad. This time of year, you'll see like gift guides coming out, like best gifts for, parents or dads or whatever. So a lot of gift guides will come out, and it could be industry specific too. So these reporters put a request out, an email is sent out to, I don't know how many, like tens of thousands of people, and you get people just reply back with exactly what you're looking for. Hopefully, a lot of times it's a mismatch. Sometimes people don't follow directions, which is a whole other thing. And that is the gist of HARO. And if you're just starting out, the biggest thing, like most, is just sign up, learn how the mechanisms are working, and kind of see what kind of requests, they're called a source request. So see what kind of source requests are coming from the reporters. You can select different industries like business, media, travel. There's one specific for the UK, and there's several more. I don't know all of them. I usually stick in the business area most of the time. And once you see the kind of requests that are coming through, you'll understand like sort of the scope of what they're looking for and what you kind of align with. Now, from my perspective, because I started to use HARO as the reporter, because that gave me huge insight on how it works from the other side. So I put in a lot of source requests so I could understand that piece of the puzzle. It gave me great insights, but it also showed me that a lot of people, number one, don't follow directions. And number two, for example, specifically, so I was doing this for Niche Site Project, and I would ask something about SEO and keyword research, for example. Then I would say the requirements are, you need to be a marketer, you need to be involved in SEO, you need to be in that industry. And I was getting responses back from, just random people. Yeah. With basically it was like the SEO consultant for a lawyer in, some small town.
Right.
It's kind of irrelevant. I mean, that person could be an expert, but it would be kind of weird if I'm like, yeah, this is all about keyword research and why it's important. And then I link to a law office site. It's kind of weird. There's not a good match, right? From a linking perspective. So from that perspective, once you see the requests that are coming through and you understand how you can match up, then you'll know like, hey, I could be successful. And I will caution people, if you are in a very obscure, small sort of industry, it may be pretty rare for anyone to cover that, but things could change. Trending topics are big, and there's going to be a lot of requests related to quarantining and maybe working from home and COVID in general. There's going to be impacts across any number of industries. So those are going to be really common just because the trend is up for that area. So
cool. So tell me a little bit through the process of, let's say you find, I don't know, let's say we have a website in the shaving niche, since it's been done to death. So we have a blog in the shaving niche. You would find someone looking for, I don't know, ways to protect your skin when you shave or whatever. Anybody was looking for something like that on HARO. What's the next step? So you apply for that, and then how do you what are the next steps that you're gonna do? And I'm more interested in how you're gonna write that piece of information for that writer. For that reporter.
The biggest thing is to follow directions. So if they are specific and they say, I'm asking about this topic, just answer that topic. If they give you any information on the kind of format they want, maybe they say, hey, I only want 4 sentences. Just give them the 4 sentences on the specific topic. A lot of times you won't find that level of structure. Maybe they're a little more vague. In that case, it's really helpful to put your items in bullet points. It's a little more clear to read. And what reporters do often is they'll just take a little segment. They'll take part of a sentence and then quote you on that. Occasionally, they'll take a full sentence. Sometimes they'll take a little bit more, but usually they're taking what you have delivered. they're paraphrasing it and maybe giving you a little quote. Sometimes you don't even get the exact quote. You often will get referenced, right? If one of the rules with HARO is if you use one of the sources, then you should give them credit. The reporter doesn't necessarily have to link to you. That's not a rule. It's not a link building exchange at all. You often do get the link, but it's not a requirement. They are required, however, to give you credit and put your name there. Probably the name of your site too. And again, follow directions, super helpful. Use bullet points. And the other sort of sin that I've seen so many times is I'll get a reply back. Again, I used it as a reporter to understand how this works. You'll get a reply back and someone gives you their bio in 2-3 paragraphs, and then they answer the question. They've just made it really hard for me to sort through the garbage.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't care who they are. Sure, you don't have to necessarily
Be rude
bury your
anything.
credentials, but answer the question. And I'm like, oh, that's a good one. I actually like that answer. And then you can see the bio underneath. Keep it brief too. I mean, no one wants your life story. Brevity is really helpful because people are in a hurry and they don't want to sort through a bunch of garbage. The other thing is you end up, as a reporter that put in a source request, you end up with dozens, sometimes over 100 responses. And that's a lot to sort through. So many that many of them go unread. So that is another one of the huge tips. If you're just getting started, like answering as soon as the request comes through is really important. There's a couple, tips around that, but I'll stop here for a second.
Sweet. There's there's another question that came to mind now. Do you use your writers to answer these questions, or you go straight in? I mean, for a guy like you who manage a few websites, I mean, for myself, maybe I could go in there and do it, but would you send your writers to do it for you, or how do you do that?
Yeah, it's a good idea to outsource after, like many things, after you do it yourself for a little while. I would say 2 to 3 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks is probably a good amount of time. If you're showing up, 4 days a week to check out these requests, start answering some, keep a database of what you're doing so that you recall answers that worked well, answers that didn't work well. And you kind of have a record of what links landed and which ones did not. There's going to be a really high correlation from answering quickly and getting your link. Basically getting your link and getting your information used in that article. So one of the things in the course, although we're not here trying to sell the course, but there's a whole unit on outsourcing and a job listing that you can use. I actually have a full over the shoulder, here's how you put in this job listing. Here are a couple key tips. You've seen these before, Adrian, because you've gone through my course.
Yeah.
And basically it's if you ask these kind of questions in the job listing, then you're going to be able to sift through people super fast. And again, as I've talked to more people, there are a few folks that are outsourcing it to just general VA types, maybe promoting a writer, because a writer already knows the content on your site. They already they're effectively writing. But the other piece of the puzzle here, like I said, you want to do this for a couple weeks on your own, record the answers that you're sending back. Of course, you're not going to necessarily get the exact same questions again, but you're going to see trends. I mean, people write the same kind of content over and over again on different websites. And as you record those, you will be able to give your database of questions and answers and all that to the person that you've outsourced it to. So you can save a lot of time, and then you don't even have to rely on them as much to come up with fresh new answers, because you just gave them a database of all the answers. And by the way, they'll continue to record those answers, the new answers that they're coming up with, in the database too.
Right. That's very helpful. Thanks for that. And let me see if I have, because I put another 3 or 4 questions in here. And first, before I move, I just reminded that because you were saying that you're not always gonna get the links, and that happened to me. Like when I was doing it, when I was playing with it, like I said, I answered a few of those. Some of them were just, when I look at them now, I said, why I did that? Because I didn't know anything about the niche. And plus the language they were using it because they're reporters, right? They have this beautiful English, and I didn't understand properly. Like they were saying gatekeepers. I didn't know what the hell gatekeepers was, and I was thinking about someone who's at the gate. And I started to answer the question in that context. And then the more I learn English terms, gatekeepers is something else that now I understand. So
they were like, what are you even talking about, man? This guy's crazy.
Lord.
Yeah. So when you were testing this out, did you get some links out of this?
I did only one link, but keep in mind I haven't done it like extensively. I just got pumped up by this new thing. At that time, I was just hearing SEOs talking about it. As this became a little bit more, more famous now, more on the trend. But I got maybe one link. It didn't do much to my site. It was just one link at the end of the day. So as you know, even if you build links, sometimes one link doesn't do anything. So you have to keep doing it.
What? Sorry, I'm gonna go down this thread a little bit. So you had a roughly brand new site. You kind of didn't know what you were doing. Do you remember what the metric was on that link that you got?
It was in the 70s because it was from a news.
Right. Yeah.
DR70, something like that.
Gotcha. Okay. So remove the fact, like you were like, you were discounting. You're like, I only got one link. Dude, you didn't know what you were doing. You replied back and you got a link to your roughly brand new site from a DR70, a news organization linked to you, and you were just kind of making stuff up, right?
Yeah.
So just with that, like think like, as you're going, you're checking out the course, but as you're like gaining knowledge and understanding how to do it better, like it's pretty scalable. It's kind of crazy. And yeah, I mean, you did a good job, even though you were trying to, downplay it. Like that's pretty awesome. You know how much that link would cost, right? That's like $500+.
Yeah, for sure. And the funny thing is that once these reporters are starting to replying to you, if you're not doing something silly or stupid like I did, you have their emails. You have their email address. So maybe I'm not saying to be spammy or anything, but just write them an email if they're interested in another story that you might have. I don't know.
And I would not recommend that, by the way, just because if you play that out, they basically don't want to hear from you. You could try, but I would super tread lightly on that. I wouldn't recommend doing that. That's one of the rules. There's a set of rules. It's clearly available on the HARO website. And they say don't spam. Like this is not a marketing. Like don't use it as a marketing tool or an outreach mechanism. And just to be clear, you don't have their actual email address. You have an email which maps to their email. So keep that in mind. So when I put the request in there, it's some sort of weird set of characters that replies back, and I get the email, but the person that sent it, they don't know what my email address is.
I got you. I don't know. Does the name of the reporter appears on the email or not?
Often it does.
Okay, because in my case, the name of the reporter, and it was the email was from their news site. So it was Doug at Fox.news, blah, blah, blah.
I know. So after they used it, they informed you, and you now have their email address. Yeah. Yes, you're right about that. Sorry.
So we went back and forth a little bit, and you can make a sort of connection if you're likable, if you're smart about it. You can make friends in this space, and I know many SEOs at higher level that they know reporters. They know where to go if they need a piece of content out there for free.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yep. So you're right. You could have build definitely more rapport, and I think once you've had some back and forth, maybe you even have like some personal connection, then it's a different situation. Yeah.
Sweet. Femi asked here in the chat, if you had to choose between the skyscraper technique and HARO, would you choose one over the other?
So the good thing is you usually don't have to choose. You could do both if you really want to. Me personally, I prefer the HARO method, and I'll hopefully give you some good logic on why. So this shotgun skyscraper it's a mess, right? So you're literally sending out emails and bugging the shit out of people.
Hence the name.
It works
of
really
the technique.
well. Yeah, works really well, but it's kind of not making the world a better place, right? And aside from that, there's the technical aspect to set up an email account. You need to set up an automated sequence and make sure the whole thing's working. The whole funnel is in place and it's working. With HARO, people are asking you for help. Instead of a push all these emails out and annoy people, you're pulling the information. The reporters are pulling the information, and they literally are asking for help. So I would go with HARO. Also, obviously, I'm selling a course in it, so like I'm biased. I'm the worst person to ask.
Yeah.
But you don't have to choose, right? You don't have to choose. I'm working with a company right now for Shotgun Skyscraper. They're doing a great job. I don't want to do it myself, but they're doing a good job with it. So you don't have to choose. If you have a preference one over the other, I would respect either one.
That's awesome. Femi, no, not Femi now. A nomad overseas says, Doug, I would be interested in the course. Not expecting you to give away too much info, but can the system be used if I don't have a VA dedicated to it?
Yeah, definitely. So there's 2 units dedicated to just setting things up, answering the questions effectively, using templates. Unit 3 is about hiring someone, and you don't have to hire anyone if you don't want to. The key thing is like kind of making it a regular sort of scheduled thing that you can keep up with. So if you could hire someone, then they keep up with it. But it's very important, as I mentioned, to answer quickly. Go ahead and cut through the noise. These reporters are getting a lot of answers, and they can't read all of them. So if you're an early answer, they're often going to go for not the perfect answer, but the one that's good enough and they've got by the deadline. Like that's the big thing. You got to get it in early.
Exactly.
And I didn't mention the 4th unit yet. It's basically it's a reverse HARO technique. So Adrian, have you checked this out yet?
I haven't got to this one yet. No.
Okay. And this is one where I can explain the concept, but it's new. No one's talked about it to my knowledge, but effectively you act as the reporter, right? So this is one reason why I tried it out. You act as the reporter, and then you can get a bunch of people answering your question, and you can do it's almost like a roundup post. I'm not sure. I may change the name of this to like HARO roundup. I'm not sure.
Exactly I see the idea. It's very, very smart. Top 10 tips for whatever. And then you have different people from different places.
Yep. So I've built more links faster using that technique. So literally, and I'll just explain it really quickly. I put out a source request as a reporter. I said, hey, I want to know about keyword research. Let me know your top keyword tips. I got, 120 answers. I put a bunch of them into a post. I linked to the people that I needed to link to, the people that were actually the sources for me. And then I let them know. I was like, hey, Adrian, I used your answer. Here's the post. Let me know if any changes need to be made. And by the way, it'd be great if you feature and mention that you were featured on this post. And why don't you link to my site? So I ended up with quite a few. I need to pull together the stats, but I'm testing and refining this piece. There's going to be more that I'm adding to it as I learn more and more, but I was able to get a huge piece of content. I think it's like 8,000 words in virtually no time, right? I don't have to wait. Everyone sent me the answers right away. I ended up with about 6 or 7 backlinks, ranging from, I think some were like a DR of 9, but all the way up to like a DR of 70 or so. So huge range, right in the sweet niche area. So it's related, relevant content, and that's hugely scalable.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen some very very cool things on that course. Uh, very very interesting. Um, but let me welcome Justin as well in the chat. Justin, how's it going, brother? Late? No, you're not late. Don't worry. If you have any question for Doug, let us know. Alternatively, if you're not shy, jump here with us on the call and ask your question directly to Doug. Another question I have here, Doug, is as you know, many people, many people, they don't like to use their names when
Sure.
when you write your articles, right, for your websites. How are you gonna approach that since you have kind of a persona, right, for each website? Have you thought about this? I didn't see it in the course because I mean I didn't got through all the units, but have you
Sure.
thought about this? Any ideas?
So it's largely irrelevant. So, and I'll explain here. So basically, I imagine you potentially have a persona on your website, and you probably have an email address associated with it. So that you can just use that email address, use that persona, not a big deal. They're just linking back to your, like, probably your homepage anyway. Like typically that's what happens. You just get a link back to your homepage. So it's pretty much like not a piece of the puzzle. They won't know who you are anyway.
Right.
And then the other part is a lot of PR companies use HARO for link building. They literally are working for clients, and in the answer, they will say, working on behalf of this client, if you use this answer, link here. You know, here's who I'm working for, because it's through a PR company. So this is a, you know, pretty much a proven sort of effective link building technique, a PR technique. And again, it could be very specifically, if it did worry you, you could say, I'm answering on behalf of my client, and then list the persona of the website if you wanted to. But I mean, people are just getting emails back. They don't know who you are. They don't care really who you are. They're just seeing your website and then your answer. So
as long as they get their good answer for the topic,
yep,
you're good to go. Alrighty. So I have another question here. Some people, I mean, it's not a question. It's kind of maybe a question as well. So some people, I know that this got to me as well at the beginning. Some people might be put off because you're dealing with reporters, right? With very important people in everybody's eyes. And it seems scary. And most people will not do anything because of this. Do you have any tips to overcome that?
I guess just get started in a small way. I think one thing that could help is the fact that they may not even read it. All right. I mean, the fact is they're getting dozens, probably over 100 responses. There's a solid chance they're not going to read yours. So if you wanted to take the pressure off, you could answer a little bit later and just get into the habit of putting yourself out there. They might read it. You might get lucky. You may answer late. They may be a little behind. They get to your answer, then they think, hey, that's great. And you luck out and you get that link, or you get some positive feedback from it. But like many things, it gets more comfortable the more you do it. And if you just make it sort of a low risk situation, most of the time it's just people on the other end. and they're, trying to write a story. They just need a little help. So if you frame it that way and you're like, it's actually my job to try to help them out. They are asking, and they're asking for help. Like, again, they're trying to pull the information instead of you pushing it upon them. So I think that should help a little bit. And then otherwise, I mean, some people are scared to do any kind of outreach or anything where you're putting yourself out there and you could get rejected. So either, you just got to get over it, or you're going to have to just take another route, because in order to get the backlinks and promote your site and do that sort of thing, like, you have to put yourself in a position to get rejected so that you could get accepted. So that just by definition, that's just the nature of how this works.
Coolio. Yeah, it's this the HARO. It's I think there's no difference between doing HARO outreach and just doing any other outreach. For guest posts, for example. The fear is gonna be there.
Yeah.
Just get over it. Listen. If I did it and I did such a bad job and I got the link, I'm sure you guys, especially if you speak English, if you're native, you're gonna do a much better job than I did. Tell me, Doug, what are some pros and cons of doing HARO? Are there any cons or pros? I mean, both of them if you have it.
Sure. That's a good question. I haven't thought this out, so we'll just think out loud. So I'll start with the cons, because there are some niches where it's just not probably going to work out that well. I'm not sure which ones. I think you would have to look deep. There's a lot of different categories in there, and there's a lot of requests that come through each day. So even if you're thinking, hey, my niche might not be a good one, I'm not even going to try, take a look, start looking through there, because you might be able to find a spot that fits in where there are, some sort of steady requests coming in. Mm-hmm. It takes time, right? It takes time to look through these emails. Now, they send out 3 emails per day, 5:35 p.m. and then 12:35. It's like Friday afternoon, so I'm like, my brain's, I think that's the right time. And then 5:35 p.m.
And there's an extra one. And there's an extra one for UK.
So I didn't know.
Yeah, I just received that yesterday, because I changed a few settings in there. And then you have one in the morning, in the afternoon, evening, and then the last one is for the UK. I don't know if it's different, or it was just because it was just one email.
Okay, so maybe they don't have as many requests coming in from the UK, so they only send it out once. Yeah. And so those are the batched emails that the free accounts will get. Now, the thing that you have to remember, or you may not realize, there's paid accounts for the sources. So you could pay, I can't remember all of them, but there's one that I think is about $50 per month, which if you pay for that, you don't have to wait for the batch emails. You will get a notification anytime a source request is accepted. Mm-hmm. And that means you could answer hours before anyone else, pays attention. I mean, anyone else that has a paid account would also have the same opportunity.
Yeah.
And you also have the ability to search within the system. So if you wanted to search a little early, before the batch emails are sent out, say a couple hours beforehand, you could log in and search. Again, you'll have to check the paid accounts. I can't remember exactly what functionality comes with each one, but you may be able to search a little early, get a head start. Now, the one little flaw with that is you may not know exactly what to search for. So, you'll have to develop a set of keywords where you can search each day for, 20 keywords that are really in your wheelhouse where you may be able to answer. Then you could sort of search, decipher if there's anything available for you. But again, the con is you're kind of glued to the inbox if you're just getting those 3 free emails per day. Now, you could invest a lot of time answering, putting a lot of care into it, and then they're not using your answer. Now, I would contend that if you're answering the proper queries where you could actually help out, over time, you'll get better and you'll see, okay, when I make a really long answer, when I put my big, large biography first, I'm not getting any traction. But when I change it up a little bit, I am getting traction.
Right.
So, you should be able to get better at it. Now, as far as pros, or can you think of any other cons? You've done this.
Another other cons is just that it takes a lot of time. That's what I seen from my own experience. It just takes a lot of time. Not only, I mean, you did a very nice job in the course organizing the emails. That just blew my mind. But other than that, I mean, 3 emails per day. I just go nuts when I go now and check my personal email account. I have like hundreds of emails from HARO. And I don't have enough time to go in. I don't even read them anymore. I just delete them. But yeah, it takes time to manage it. That would be one of the cons for me. But like Femi was asking earlier, if you have to choose between HARO and Skyscraper, I mean, both of them, they take a lot of time from your from your day to day. But yeah, I mean, I haven't done too much, so I can't say I know any other cons. But there's Femi has a question here in the chat. What do you think is the success rate in percentages?
So I've seen, and I'll lean on Kyle, who sent an email in, and he's one of the main people that got me looking harder. I think his success rate was like 30 to 40%, something like that. It was very high, and he wasn't an expert. He didn't have credentials in the specific area. He just had a good system that he was using to reply back. He was getting answers back in a timely manner. And the other thing is, I told you 30, 40%. That's probably a weird example, right? I have no clue because it probably varies a lot on your niche. And let me give a quick example, right? So let's say, actually, I'll use you, Adrian.
Yeah.
You said you did this.
Yeah.
You answered you were like, I'm going to answer anything where I could possibly answer it. And your percentage was terrible because you answered stuff that you shouldn't have answered, right?
Yeah.
So the numbers, right, the inputs to the percentage formula here matter a lot. So if you're answering things that are right in your wheelhouse and you've refined your answers and you're providing good information, you're following directions, you're getting the answer as quickly as you can to the person, your percentage, your success rate is going to be huge. But if you're, you show up a couple hours late and, maybe your grammar is a little off, maybe you're answering the wrong questions, it's not going to work that well. It's not going to work for you. And yep. So I told you a high percentage, but I would say it really is up to you on how high your quality is and how well there's a match for your answer and the questions that are coming in. And we skipped the pros. So I know there's more questions coming in, but the pros are you can get links that are going to be virtually impossible for your competitors to get. So there's some, link building techniques where you go and see your competitors' links, and then you email and do outreach. You see if you can get links. If someone got a link via HARO, you're probably not going to be able to match their link. You'll send an email and it's going to go to no one, essentially. So these are kind of links that your competitors can't get. And from the pro, I mean, you could end up just like you, Adrian. Again, we'll use you as an example, but in a positive light this time.
Thank you.
You got a DR 70 whatever link for a new site, and you probably maybe even didn't deserve it. It was a little, you were shooting a little too high, and then you got it. So it's pretty cool. Like you're able to do that. And if you would have stayed at it, how long has it been? Like over a year, right? So if you would have kept doing it, not every day necessarily, but let's say you kept hammering, like you could have like quite a few links. And this is what we see with like Kyle, This is what we saw with Anthony. Shauna has a great example as well, where, she tested it out for a little while, answered a few of them. I think she shared her percentage, or success percentage, and she did a really good job. And if you look, I mean, she calls it out in her sort of case study. Basically, she has a good website, good information, but she cusses on there. It's not like the most professional looking site.
Right.
But it's great for internet marketing, right? I mean, it's a fantastic site, good information, and China is fantastic. But when it comes down to it, it's not like a newsworthy site. If you just were to like go and read her about page where she cusses on there, right? Some people would be kind of turned off from that. So, yeah. Any other pros you could think of, Adrian?
Pros is free. The links are stupid high in power. They're not relevant, but they're they're not gonna be relevant because it's a news website, but they're very, very high in authority, so that's gonna help. It's gonna give trust to your site, and it's for free. And like you said earlier, these links cost stupid amounts of money if you want to buy them. But yeah, I mean, that I guess that's the best. That's the best free. That's the best pro about it.
Oh yeah, I forgot. And leaning on that just a little bit, it's links, or they are links that could be very high authority. And I published a video yesterday where I'm like, this is going to be a big service coming out as like more and more people are talking about it. I keep hammering, and I mean, there's already some services out there doing this. Sometimes they're buried within a PR company, but there are people serving like our community that are charging, something like $400 per link. So it's only a matter of time. And I mean, here's the thing. The course basically tells you how to hire. I mean, I don't want to do this service, right? In the video, I'm like, I don't want to do services, not interested. Great business model for people that want to deal with clients. But for me personally, not my thing.
Can I welcome Leon Angus as well? How's it going, my man? I know he. He was. You had him on your channel a few days ago. So thanks for stopping by. He said, "Hey man, love the channel, boss. I'm watching too. Nice one. Thanks for that." Prussian Prince asked Doug, "Does Doug has any course that teaches how to build and rank Amazon?" There's a link in the description if you want to check it out. Affiliate link, I'm an affiliate guy. So if you want to use it, that's cool. Thanks Michelle for the answer there. There's a question from a nomad overseas. He's based in Ireland, and he says, possibly a silly question, but does it make any difference if you use UK or US English for your answers, assuming the majority of requests are from US?
Yeah, I would aim for, whatever the publication is. So yeah, most are going to be US. There is a category, like you mentioned, Adrian, that is, UK specific. So, for that one, you could, put in your extra U's and into words like color,
Yeah, put the Z's.
But yeah, oh yeah, I forgot about those. It's funny whenever you see them, it's crazy.
So Leon was saying that the Femi was saying 30-40% success rate. Going back to the success rate, it's is amazing. Leon says it's stupid high. I think we gone through all the questions. I don't know if you guys have any more questions. Again, if you want to join Doug and myself here on the Zoom call and say hi in person, this is a very rare situation where you can say hi to Doug.
Yeah, usually don't let people on. Yeah.
Exactly. So take this opportunity. If you have any more questions, that's cool. If not, Doug, do you want to tell us if anything that we didn't cover today that you covered in the course?
I think you did a very good job going over the material. So I'll just do a quick highlight. There's 4 units. This is one of the courses where it's meant to solve a specific problem. You get all the material right away. You literally can buy it, start getting emails on Monday I see someone ask if they send emails on the weekend. They do not. It's just Monday through Friday. And so you could get the course and then sign up, do everything, go through the material, and then get rolling for Monday and start sending replies. I think we saw a couple people in the chat that said, hey, like I started doing HARO as well. And I think just, talking about it, you could definitely, and here's the thing. I mean, you can go and do some research and figure out how to answer HARO requests. A course like this is going to probably save you time. It may help you with some of the, success rate that you will see. The biggest stuff in the course are around, outsourcing and the templates, keeping track of your answers, those sort of templates, the emails that you mentioned there, Adrian, where it's like, it's very clear, as I mentioned and highlighted, keep it tight.
Man, I like that. I mean, if anything, that course, filtering the messages and all that, that was amazing.
Yep. And like you said, it's really easy to blink and then you got, 45 emails. It's kind of a mess. It's hard to figure out what to do. So I went through all this to figure out like, what are the biggest pain points? How can we fix them? So the other part, aside from the outsourcing piece where I show you, here's how to hire someone, here's exactly how to put in the job in Upwork, how much to pay, all those details. And then when you get to unit 4, the reverse HARO, I'm going to have to come up with a name. So a HARO roundup where I've been able to get more links more quickly with like less effort. And again, instead of like the shotgun method where you're sending emails and blasting them out there and pushing, your agenda, you can turn it around and pull the information in where everyone is pushing in the same direction. It's much easier that way. You don't have people trying to like charge you for links or any kind of nonsense like that. You send out these outreach emails and then everybody wants, 25 to, $250 just to publish a post on their site,
That's true.
So anyway, I think that's like the broad scope of it. And as I mentioned before, I mean, you can, like most things, you do a bunch of research, you can figure out how to do HARO. The course will save you time. And then I think the biggest stuff is like people that want to scale this, people that are thinking, hey, I want to flip it on its head too and do these reverse HARO techniques and maybe hire someone to help out so you don't have to sit there in your inbox all day.
Coolio. That was actually one of the questions that I wanted to ask. Like, how people is in, people is or are. I don't know. There you go. Another English thing that I need to learn there. Oh no, you don't need this you don't need to pay for this. You don't need to. Like with any course online, it's just like Doug said, saves time. And I like, if you're like me and I just came off the crane. Here's my trousers. I'm still with my trousers on.
Whoa, it's not that kind of video, man.
Ooh, well, it's late here, so I don't know. I can keep my hat on. But yeah, I mean that's if you guys want to check it out, the link is in the description again. If you want to use it, I appreciate it. I'm an affiliate guy, and Doug is one of the few people I would buy a course from. Kieran says, Merchants
Thanks.
UK Brew.
much appreciated. Yeah. Cheers. I'm about to get a beer myself. It's nearly 5 where I'm at. Yeah.
There's a question from Justin. It doesn't have to do with this, but since we're gonna wrap it up, if you want to address it, Justin is a follower of the Hasta La Vista Boss YouTube channel. What do you think about the upcoming Google update will affect KGR? If you want to address it in a minute.
Yeah. So as you know, Adrian, I hardly keep up with anything.
Yeah.
And
Doug is not the guy for that.
I don't have an opinion. I would check out with the IMG crew, perhaps the Internet Marketing Gold folks that are much more in the know with up-to-date algorithm type information. As far as KGR, I don't know. I have no inside information. And typically what I've seen with KGR is sometimes an algorithm update will help some sites, some sites will be hurt a little bit. There doesn't seem to be much of a correlation. I've seen some sites where it's like all KGR content, sorry, 2 sites, all KGR content for both of them. Some go up, some go down. So what I do think is oftentimes, not always, often the keyword golden ratio does help align with the searcher intent, and that is obviously the direction that Google has been going in for a long time. Sometimes with KGR, especially with voice search, like you may be able to have like some interesting voice searches because those are longer sort of phrases that you may be able to get long tail keyword phrases to rank with. So I'm perhaps grasping at some straws, but like I said, usually KGR is super specific. It helps match up with searcher intent. So it's actually shockingly to me held up for almost 5 years now. So it seems to be going pretty well, even though it's a very simple concept.
That's awesome. Another overseas says here, thanks for the great answers and info. Much appreciated. I much appreciate you for being here. Another overseas. Doug, what do you think about e-commerce style affiliate website? we are diverting the live stream.
Yeah. Are we talking like a WooCommerce affiliate website, that sort of thing? If so,
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. If so, I think that's a huge waste of time. Don't do it. I think that's like what people were doing a few years ago.
Yeah.
And, you know, one of our friends, you know, Alex Cooper, WP Eagle, you know, he was building these type of sites, you know, years ago, and he shifted to, you know, more of a blog style. So I think, I mean, if you have an e-commerce style affiliate site, you're not fooling anyone. They obviously know they're buying from Amazon or, you know, whatever other source you're looking at. So, yeah.
True. That's how I started, following Alex tutorials. And I was doing one of those Woozone sites. Funny enough, I did a few bucks. Amin, how's it going? Welcome. And
Hey,
unfortunately, we're coming to a close here. We've been almost an hour. I could stay with Doug here for another 5 hours. But I need to take a shower. Doug needs to carry on with his... actually, he needs to drink a beer. So...
Yeah. Yeah.
Another question, just one more question, and that's it. This is kind of a beginner question. I'm sure you answered this like millions of times already, Doug. Zulka, I'm sorry if I butcher your name, brother. When we need to start to create link building for a new site?
As soon as you could do it, man. As soon as you could do it. Some people, actually, I'll go on a rant. I've been ranting on this a little bit. So I started a site in July, started link building essentially, you know, a week or two in. So pretty much as soon as you can get going. I have a shotgun skyscraper campaign going. It's getting very little traffic, still very young site. You know, what is that? 3.5 months, 4 months old, something like that. And basically, the rant is you will hear folks say, it's unnatural for a new website to get backlinks.
What?
But it's really not if, you know, we're marketers and we know how to promote things. And let's say I'm going to launch a new site. Well, I'm going to probably reach out to Adrian. I'm going to reach out to my other friends. I'm going to bug Leon. I'm going to talk to a few other people and say, hey, you know what? I'm doing this thing. And if you have the opportunity, I would love it if you gave it a shout out, maybe link to it. I could do a guest post. Maybe you could put it as a resource. Basically, if you're competent, you will go out and promote your site, right? There's no reason to sit on your hands. Why would you do that? So it is natural for a new website to get links and to go out there and network, to reach out to the people that they already know and say, hey, why don't we work together? Like, how can we help each other out? So my stance is start as soon as possible. So if you're waiting, I don't know what you're waiting for.
Exactly. Just to add to that a little bit, if you know, any business, what do you think any business do when they open the doors. They start promoting themselves. So building links is promoting your business, going to other websites and talk about whatever, collaborating with other websites. It just makes sense. So if you just, I talk with my wife about this all the time. Like, people open a new store here in front of the house, and then they just sit outside drinking coffee and smoking cigarettes all day long. Like, how do you expect people to come into the bar to buy stuff, right? You have to promote it. You have to put some advertisings or whatever. Yeah, definitely don't wait to build links. Jan says, very motivating. Thanks. We'll go through the course on the weekend. Let us know
What's
how
up,
that.
Jan? Good to see you, man.
Yeah, good to see you, brother. I sent you some messages on Skype, Jan, but I'm sorry you didn't hear them. It was the phone is broken or whatever. I'll try to do it again. But Doug, I think we're gonna wrap it up, my man. And thanks for stopping by. I hope it was helpful to anybody who's looking to build HARO links. And if you need any more in-depth help, just check out Doug's course. Righty.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Thanks very much. Let me see if I can, as you can see, I've done all manually. Hey, there you go. I'm big on the screen again. And thanks everybody for stopping by. I'm sorry if you didn't, you weren't here earlier to catch up, Doug, but watch the replay. And remember, everybody, stay focused, because we're going to get rid of that boss. All right. Bye.
Yeah, I know sometimes it's hard when you get the feeling you just wanna quit your job. We've all had that thought. This is what you want. Time to tune in. Hasta la vista, boss. Yeah, for my side hustlers who never stop.